Sometimes the most important thing we can learn is how little we know. And unlearning can be just as important as learning. Knowing what to get rid of, what to discard, is a huge part of learning, just as taking on new information is. And that definitely happened for me this semester in the cross-cultural and multicultural psychology class. Some of the things that stood out to me were Ubuntu and the concept of jegnaship. When I was introduced to Ubuntu, it was through the video Toward a Black Psychology, Origin and Evolution of a Discipline. When Ubuntu was introduced in that video, I had to rewind the video and watch it again, and rewind and watch again, and rewind and watch again. The concept of that a person is a person because of other persons was really a new idea to me. That I am because you are, and that we are people because of how we interact with other living things and other people. It made so much sense to me. And it's really, what I took from that was, it's like sort of the main difference between the Western way of psychology and the African-centered way. So the Western European-centered ways, that's what I'm accustomed to. That's what I was indoctrinated with. And sometimes I would question it, but I just thought that was how it was. The way that the Western psychology defines a person, for example, that the way that the Western psychology defines psychology, is the study of human behavior and mental processes. Okay, it's like, sounds kind of like just the brain. And the African way is the study of the human spirit, or human illumination. I think now that sounds more like it. Like, that is brain, heart, spirit, connection. That makes so much more sense, and that is so much more humanistic and holistic, and really more fitting for talking about a person, because we are complex and messy creatures. So there's a lot more than just a one-dimensional view of like looking at human behavior and mental processes. And another quote that really stood out to me was that in the European psychological tradition, the human being is defined with reference to their internal psychological attributes, like thoughts and emotions. And it's all about separating oneself. How is one separate from others? That's totally how I grew up. And it's a very unsatisfying way when you know that there's another way to look at it, which is the African-centered, that the goal of becoming a human being is to find the connections. It's to respond to the energies that are always surrounding, the vibrations that are out there, the indication that we are connected to all other people. So learning about that being a human is about how we are with other humans and other living things, and the rivers and the rocks and the mountains and everything, it felt like such a peaceful, it was a peaceful learning. Like, I felt peace. It reminded me of when, I don't know if this has happened to you, but when the refrigerator's running in the background, and maybe you're not really that aware of it, but you notice it once it stops. That's when you know that there was noise. And it's in that peace that you have an awareness of, like, something was going on in the background. You weren't really aware of it, but you were expending actually a lot of energy on it. And so once that noise stops, there's a peace that comes with that. I feel like the Western psychology is like this kind of noise in the background. And now that I see the contrast between the Western and the African-centered, it comes with a peace, and one that makes way more sense and explains really why belonging and connection are so important to me. And then the concept of jegnaship was also very powerful, and that relates to that connection and that connectedness, that we have jegnas in our life that teach us and share their wisdom. And it was very empowering to see myself as a jegna to other people right now, and also in the future. And leads to ask questions like, what do I want to leave behind, and what values do I have? It's like a really wonderful internal compass to remember that connection and that Ubuntu, and that all the jegnas I've had in my life which you, of course it will include Dr. Detterville now, and also all of you for showing up every week, for sharing your beautiful hearts and minds, and sharing what you learned and asking questions and reflecting, that we all did that together. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.